Today's guest is Hayden Lindley with Invictus Roofing. We go behind the scenes of how he got started with the roofing business, the business that he owns. We talk a little bit about politics, the tariffs. We also talk about aliens and the pyramids. So it's a fun conversation. So I hope you guys enjoy. So we have Hayden Lindley on today. I'm excited to have him on. Hayden, tell us a little bit about your business. I think it's so interesting to listen behind the scenes on a lot of businesses, but with roofing companies, it's a lot of stuff that goes on that some people don't think about.
Yeah.
So one thing that I've loved is you have a good business mind and you've turned it into an empire with Invictus. So Hayden, tell us a little bit about the business and how it got started.
So I'm an owner, COO of Invictus Roofing and Construction. I got two awesome business partners, Kevin Kirkwood and Nikki Kirkwood. We started Invictus about 6 years ago, coming up in June. We really started here focusing on our backyard in the DFW market, just doing single family homes. It was one of those anything that we could to generate revenue and get the bills paid. And it's kind of morphed over time. We're kind of digging back into what we know, and that's multifamily and commercial roofing. So Kevin and I come from a roofing company past where him and I work together. So, right now I'm licensed in California, Oregon, working on getting my license in Oklahoma and Florida. Also looking at, Colorado, maybe somewhere East Coast, Carolinas, Arizona. So we're more client-based than more regional brick and mortar based. So, we have groups of ownerships of management companies that have properties coast to coast nationwide. And we're kind of their go-to for their roofing needs. And we're now branching outside of just roofing focused. And we're more focusing on basically exterior building envelopes. So siding, stucco, exterior paint, parking lot repairs, parking lot striping. Basically, if the sun hits it, that's our focus. We're always going to be in the roofing space, but we have clients that call us like, "Hey, y'all knocked our roof out. We need someone to do the stucco wall. We can't find anybody. Can you do it?" So after we got a few of those phone calls, we're like, you know what? Maybe we should branch out a little bit. We got clients here. They like the product. They like who they're dealing with. If they want to work with us on some future projects together, let's branch out our services so we can help out.
Yeah. So you started here in the DFW, and then
Yes.
Once it started picking up.
Yeah.
Like
So
that,
our office is in Frisco, and we just started here locally. So we were doing houses, we were doing little repairs, we were doing anything we could just to generate that revenue, just to get the business off the ground to fund itself. And then I'd say about 2.5, 3 years ago, we really started picking up steam and started picking up larger contracts, and that's where we kind of started digging back into that Rolodex of past clients that we've had from our previous company that we worked at. And we just weren't ready when we first launched Invictus to go nationwide. I mean, we were still figuring out things. We had to build a team. We had to get, our distribution partners and our manufacturing partners in line and kind of, show everyone that, hey, we're going to do this thing again. So, we just... Once we felt comfortable of branching out, we started picking up the phone, calling our customers that we had a relationship with, and said, "Hey, we're ready to go nationwide. Where you got properties for us?" And instantly they were like, "Hey, you need to get licensed out in California. Hey, we're looking at buying these properties in Oregon." So it was one of those of, as our team is flying out to properties, doing due diligence packages with these ownership groups, I'm in the background filling out all the necessary applications, pulling bonds, pulling insurances, taking tests. I mean, getting licensed in California was a nightmare. It took 6 months.
So I'm just so interested, what part or what point was it where you started, realized you needed to do that? Was it a certain year that was a change?
What really got us, from Kevin and I's background, he was president, I was vice president of a commercial multifamily roofing company. We worked together for about 6-7 years prior to starting Invictus.
And that was the first time that you had done anything with roofing? Or
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first time. So before that, I worked in lightning protection, did estimating and design for lightning protection. And then before that, I did estimating and design work for cold form steel roof trusses and wall panels. So I kind of did the deal with the steel trusses and wall panels, working my way through college. So I got my degree at UNT in construction engineering. Cool. So, started working in the construction field when I was 19, worked my way through college, graduated college, started working doing lightning protection, that kind of stuff. And then I had a buddy from college. He was like, hey, I'm working for this renovations company. They're the largest renovation company of multifamily properties in the country. And they're kind of starting this roofing business. They're looking for an estimator. Send me your resume and I'll submit it in and see if we can't get you a spot. So
was that your business partner now?
That was my buddy, Chris Shakespeare. So him and I went to college together. We were in each other's weddings, still great friends today. He actually was president running a commercial interior finish out construction company. So we kind of bounced jobs off of each other, but it was one of those back in the day, 2013 this was, and he was like, hey, they're starting this roofing company, they need an estimator, send me your resume, I'll submit it. So I did all that, got a call in, and my interview was with Kevin, my business partner now, and I had like a 3-hour interview. And it was one of those of like, we just started talking, we hit it off. I actually took off work a morning to go do this interview, and I'm like, I gotta go because I gotta get to the office. I just took the morning off.
What are they talking about?
Yeah, so it was literally anything and everything you can imagine. We were just talking about work stuff. We're talking about life. We were just connected, and got hired on as estimator there, and I was the first employee hired for the office, and then worked my way up to senior estimator, purchasing coordinator. One day, our finance manager went to lunch and never came back, got pissed off, I guess. So Kevin looked at me and said, hey, do you want to be our finance manager? And I was like, I'll do it. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but there'll be a day I'm going to come to you probably and it says, I'm going to tell you to find a finance manager. But I'm never going to say no to a challenge. So I hopped in there, did that for about 6 months, absolutely hated it. It was horrible.
Why?
Because I wasn't doing what I like to do. I wasn't doing any of the front end work on putting jobs together. I wasn't doing any overseeing any production. I wasn't doing any client interaction. It was me in front of a computer screen looking at numbers all day long. Yeah. And what it did was it allowed me to understand more of the finances of construction businesses and how billings and retention and how to deal with all that. So it was good. It was necessary for me to do. It was just kind of one of those. It was just weird of the timing of just like, hey, he went to lunch and didn't come back. You want to do it? I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Does it help you today at your job?
There's some aspects that do. Yeah. But once I did that for 5-6 months, I went to Kevin one day. I was like, hey, this is not for me. I told you I'd give it a try. I did all I could do. You're gonna have to find somebody to replace me. So he's like, cool, no problem. So we found a lady to replace me and promoted me into a VP of operations. So at that point, Kevin was running the show over there. I was vice president. We had 4 offices. So our corporate office was in Addison. Then we had an office in Riverside, California, an office in Denver, Colorado, and then an office in Tampa, Florida. So we had like 77 employees at our height. Did right under $40 million in sales that year. And Kevin had a business partner in that venture, and he was a minority owner. He came to me one day. The majority owner was wanting to do some things that they just didn't see eye to eye on, of growing the company and starting to do a lot of mergers and acquisitions with some smaller companies that weren't very profitable, but he was just trying to get this real high top line company. And Kevin came to me, he's like, hey, I voiced my opinions. I've told him this is a bad idea. I think I'm just going to resign and start a new company. Do you want to be my business partner? And this was like lunch on a Tuesday. And
what year?
2019.
Okay.
So same time. So I kind of sat there for about a second or two, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. No idea how I was going to make it happen. No idea what that looked like.
Dude, your life changed in 2 seconds.
Yeah, and so here's the fun part is, so that happens. I'm like, what's there to lose? I didn't have any kids at the time. I was married to Hannah at the time. It was just her and I. I was like, at the end of the day, what's there to lose?
What did she think of that?
So I get to come home and tell her all what's happening, and this is while we're building our house. So as I go home, didn't tell her right when I got home, and at this time we were building a house, and we were going every other day to go just check on the house, see the progress. We'd go grab dinner, stop by. So we pull into the lot, and the foundation's framed, the rebar's in there. It's like ready to go. They're pouring foundation the next day. And I was like, hey, babe, I'm going to start a company. And she had this look on her face of like, we're kind of building a house. We need a paycheck. I was like, I don't know all the details yet, but I'll make sure it works out. I'll make sure it works out. We're going to get this house. I know it's your dream house. It's going to work. So poured the foundation, did what all I had to do, got the mortgage, had the paycheck, signed the deal. But there was a few months in there of, what the hell have I done?
Yeah.
But it was reassuring because I knew that I couldn't give up. I knew that there was, I had to push forward. I had to push hard because there were people counting on me. So that was one of the real driving factors. But looking back on it now, it was a blip on the radar. I mean, it was, at the time, it was huge. But I look back at it now, I was like, I mean, it wasn't really that big of a deal.
At the time, because it was new. Everything's uncertain.
It's like, we're trying to build a house right now, and they're pouring foundation tomorrow, and I'm about to quit my job, and let's start a new company.
Yeah.
And, just all the things that go with it. But that's kind of how Invictus got started. Started about 6 years ago, and, we're growing every year, looking at getting licensed in more places, picking up clients every day. Just picked up a client last week that manages and owns hospitality hotels. They got like 250 across the nation. So we're getting into the fold with them. Multifamily companies, we just got in with one a couple months ago, knocked out a few pretty large jobs for them. They got like 45 properties just in DFW. So, it's just one of those of every day is a struggle and a grind, but it's just, getting better and knocking out and doing better today than what you did yesterday, just to keep that client happy. Because at the end of the day, in this business, in this state, there's no licensing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be a roofer tomorrow if you want to.
Yeah.
There's no insurance requirements. There's no licensing. There's no nothing. You can go knock on someone's door and say, hey, I'm David, I'm a roofer, let me put a roof on, and you have zero experience, and people don't know that. Yeah. So it's very competitive just because of that aspect. And it's one of those of, we do everything in our power to keep our clients top of mind, keep them happy, execute all of our scopes of work as they're supposed to be done per manufacturer specifications. And in the commercial space, there's manufacturer guidelines and certifications that kind of set you apart from the chuck in the trucks, is like we like to call them in the industry. So we have that helps separate us, but you just go out there and put your head down, get to work, and just kick ass every day.
Did Kevin have the behind the scenes stuff of the roofing business down, or are you guys kind of learning as you go?
No, so he's his dad was in the roofing space. He's been in the roofing space for years. He started the previous roofing company that I worked at with him back in like 2006. So he has a lot of business knowledge. He has a lot of roofing knowledge. I kind of brought to the table more of like the estimating, putting the pieces together. We kind of share in like project oversight kind of deal. Kind of the dynamic is he does more business, sales, business development side of things, where I do more of the estimation and the operations of the company and of the project. So it works out great. I mean, it's one of those that I've had people ask me before, like, what makes a good business partner? And it's somebody that you share an alignment with like values, like you have the same values and you have the same goals, but a completely different skill set.
Yeah.
Because if we both had the same skill set, then why do we have each other?
Yeah.
But it's one of those that I've told him before, I was like, we're the most same and most different people at the same time. It's crazy.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You have to balance each other somehow.
Yeah.
So you have a machine now. So it's so big now, like you don't have to depend on any job to pay people, but it's more of like these jobs are going to be coming, right?
Yeah, the jobs are coming. So, I mean, obviously we like the big jobs, but, you know, we do a lot of service and repair, which is kind of what, you know, we like to say keeps the lights on. So, you know, not everyone has, you know, a 6-figure, 7-figure check to replace a roof on a large commercial warehouse or an apartment complex, but they have, you know, $2,500, $5,000, $10,000 laying around in some sort of a CapEx budget. And when the roof's leaking, something has to be done about it. They got mad tenants. It could be a building they own. They shut down, you know, operations. So they have to get those things fixed, those roof leaks fixed. So we're really focusing and really turning up the dial on our service and repair business.
Yeah. That's subscriptions?
Yes and no. We have some like roof maintenance agreements that are subscriptions, where based on roof square footage, based on roof type, we'll send a crew out once a year, twice a year, quarterly, whatever they want. And we'll go up there and clean off any debris. We will reseal, you know, any of the penetrations, term bars, any place where water could get in. We take sealants up there. And what that allows that owner to do is if they have a warranty on that roof when it was put on by the manufacturer, some manufacturers warranty roofs up to 30 years. So if a manufacturer's warranting that roof for 30 years, in that warranty document, if they don't maintain that roof by a roofing contractor that is certified by that manufacturer, their warranty is void.
Yeah.
So a lot of building owners have no idea. They spend, you know, $600,000 on a new roof and never touch it for 10 years. When all of a sudden they're like, why is my roof falling apart and leaking? Well, you got trees growing out of it and it's never been maintained. It's like buying a new car, driving it for 100,000 miles and you never get the oil changed. Like it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
So having that maintenance and that subscription model, we're servicing that roof, we're maintaining it. You know, if there's anything that pop up, we'll let the building owners know. There's times that we're like, hey, did you know there's cuts in your roof? Like this AC door panel blew off from this last windstorm and went tumbling across the roof and it punched holes. They're like, I have no idea. I hadn't even started leaking yet. So, you know, we'll take care of that stuff, but that allows them to keep that warranty from that manufacturer in place.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's necessary with that kind of money.
Yeah, there's...
how many staff members do you have, or how much staff?
Right now we have 11.
11?
Yeah.
And are they all 1099s?
No, they're all W-2s.
W-2s?
Every single employee is a W-2 employee. When we first started, we had 1099s because we were getting everything started and, you know, we're going. But 2 years ago, we switched everybody over to W-2.
Oh, wow. So the salesmen, the roofers are all 1099 or
service
W2s?
techs, everybody.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So how has it been? Because this is your first time managing, right? Because you came straight from working.
I managed people at the previous roofing company. I oversaw all the project managers. Was kind of my role, but yeah, I mean I've been managing people for a little bit.
How do you do it? Like, do you manage everybody the same?
You can't.
So it's different.
You can't. Communication, you know, ways of communicating is different with each person.
Yep.
Just how you present the information to people is different. I have one project manager, love him to death. He was with Kevin and I at our previous company. He's an older gentleman. Technology is not his strong suit.
Yeah.
He does good. He does a good job, but it's just not a strong suit. So if we send him out to a job, I'm going to the printer and I'm printing every single document, work order, scope of work, the specs, everything out. We're making him a physical folder because he's old school. He likes to make his notes and he likes to write everything down. He wants to have a piece of paper he can flip to. I have a project manager, early mid-20s. He doesn't even know what a printer is. Doesn't even know what paper is. Everything's on his iPad. Boom, 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 boom. So,
but they're both useful.
They're both useful. They both do a great job. It's just having, you know, knowing their strong suits and knowing, you know, where to guide them. I would never ask Mike to, hey, here's an iPad. I need you to look through here. I mean, I'm gonna make sure he is able to succeed in his role. So if he needs printed copies of everything, we got a printer. We'll print everything out. And it's one of those too of communication styles. I have some guys that I can text and they'll text me right back. I have some guys I got to pick up the phone and call. I have some guys I got to send them an email. And it's just one of those of, it takes a little bit of time to learn that cadence and learn that communication style with different people. But once you kind of get it dialed in, oh, he's a text guy, oh, he's a call guy, I mean, you can get stuff done quick.
Yeah. And I mean, management, it's tough. It
is
be tough because it's like, you're babysitting adults. Yeah. But it's been one of the most rewarding parts of me growing.
Yeah, you got a few people that you got to
I mean, take care of. I changed the way I used to do it. I remember the way I learned was wrong. Like my old boss was a tough ass. He'd come in, and you know what? That worked for him. But I learned your turnover rate.
Yeah.
I mean, you can boss everybody the same way or manage everybody the same way. Somebody, it's not going to work out. And then you have the stress of trying to find somebody to fit that role again.
Yeah.
And so, it was after, I think, right when I started my company, this girl I had manage, it was with her that I changed my management style. Yeah. I was always the good cop, or I was always the bad cop to a good cop when I co-managed with a buddy of mine when I was in my early 20s. And I was always, tough because I'm just like, probably a little insecure in my position, but I thought you had to be tough to get work done. So people knew to get to work when I got into the office because I'd be like, come on, man, get going. But with this girl, I changed my management style. And I remembered, and one thing I always remember is you treat them like people. Yeah. And they're your frontline workers. They're on the front line.
Yep.
If you take care of them and make them as happy as they can be, of course, as long as they're doing, they're growing, they're doing things right, they're being productive. But they're, even when they're not, there's ways to handle it and be respectful. And man, any trainer we get, we keep for usually at least a year.
Yeah.
Or
you just got to treat them like people, because at the end of the day, that's what they are. They're people.
Yeah.
They got their own life. They got their own agenda. They want to be a part of something, and you want to give them something to be a part of and feel that ownership in that organization. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're people. They want to be treated like people. Yeah. Have there been times that I've gone off on people? Absolutely.
I mean, you kind of have to sometimes.
I have gotten in some people's ass before.
Yeah.
And should I have? Maybe. Did it get the point across? Definitely. It did. They never made that mistake again.
I don't think a lot of people on the other side think a lot about our realities. And then I think a lot of us on this side don't think about the employee realities. So what I always try to think about, especially when I have a problem with a staff member, I take a deep breath and make sure
it comes from a calmer place.
Yes. But I also think, okay, so what is their reality? Yeah. And it's like, well, they could have things going on.
Absolutely.
They're coming to work to get a paycheck. Yeah. They may love their job, but they're coming to get a paycheck, go home, and go about their day. Yep. Where I may take something personally because this is my baby.
This is your life.
And do you know what I'm sacrificing? Like, in their reality, they could be like, oh man, they make all the money we slave away here, and then I'm over here. Well, do you understand?
Do you know what insurance costs?
Do you
know all these truck payments cost?
Yeah.
Gas bill for this thing costs?
Yep. The rent bill, do you know how much that is? Like, I don't see a lot of that with my staff, which is great, and maybe I'm managing well with them. But it's just so interesting. I always think of the reality. Okay, what are they going through? What's their perception? It's not their business.
No.
So I can't take it personally if they're doing something wrong. But I always think of processes, man. Yeah. Processes. If something went wrong, you need to figure out why. And I always try to take responsibility. Yeah. If I have an employee that sucks,
it falls back on you.
It falls back on me. And
you're the one that hired them. You're their manager.
I have a lot of people. So when I first started Training Society, my idea was to have a barbershop style business model where trainers, independent ones like me, could bring clients in and run my own business.
Yeah.
There was nothing like that around town. You had to go sneak behind in,
Yeah.
LA Fitness.
And I'm not training him. We're just friends.
Yep.
Yeah.
But so I tested it out before I went full into it, and I made some money, and I thought we had something. But I've realized after getting started, there are a lot of trainers are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They're running their own business. And I think some of them don't even realize that. They're just like, I want to make money training.
That's what when we first kind of started Invictus, and we had a handful of residential sales guys. They were all 1099. All go out, find your deals, bring them to us. Invictus will perform them, and you get your commission cuts. And I'm looking at these guys, and we've told them, it's like, you're your own entity. Like, go get an LLC set up. Like, take tax deductions, buy your truck through your LLC, buy your boots that you need to work through your LLC, buy your iPad through, like you're running a business. Mm-hmm. You're complaining that we're not giving you leads. Take your proceeds from your commissions and go do your own marketing.
But you're trying to convince somebody to be their own.
It's trying to convince somebody that you are your own company, and they just didn't have that mindset of like, but I'm here. And it's like, you are here. You can be anywhere. You're a 1099 independent contractor, but at the end of the day, you are running your own business.
Yeah, it is. But my point with that is I think a lot of people don't realize that want to be business owners. So that's why I really wanted to get you on, because you're very successful. I don't know the numbers, but I know that you are. I mean, I can tell. I can tell that you guys are growing, right? I mean,
we are growing.
That's success.
Yeah, it is.
And so I want to bring somebody on that I can actually share commonalities with. But people want to be, so especially the Training Society business model where I get trainers to come in, and I had a bunch of them. Oh man, I want to be a trainer, blah, blah, blah. And they come in and they get one client and they couldn't retain the client.
Yep.
And a lot of trainers that, I went into that gym and there's already trainers trying to train, and they, they're charging their clients like barely anything. Yeah. And I'm like, you can't, if you're having trouble paying your rent to me because of money, you should probably charge more. But if you charge more, you can't just charge more because I told you should charge more. It comes with value. But they don't.
It was crazy to me is I found this gym. I forget what it's called. I may have sent it to you, in New York City. It is limited. I think it's like 150 members only. It's $10,000 a month. 3 meals a day, coffee bar, Wi-Fi, masseuses on staff, trainers. You walk in at any hour of the day, you get a trainer that walks up to you. I mean, it's value. You can charge someone $30 to train. Place in New York City is charging $10,000 a month.
That's crazy.
And people are paying it. Yeah. They have a cap on there, and it's all about that value, and it's what someone perceives that value for.
Yeah.
And it's one of those of, if as crazy as it sounds, someone's charging a cheap price and they're barely, getting by, and they're attracting a cheap customer.
Yeah.
Raise your damn prices and get a better customer in there.
Yep. Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Even I have a buddy right now that's trying to start his own business. He already did, but listen, it's services that I don't know. I'm not like educated in, but I give him my business knowledge of what I do in my business that's successful, and he'll rant and complain about this, and I love him, and he trusts me with his rants and his complaints, but I always hit him back, and I'm like, there's a lesson to be learned if you're complaining about this customer and this situation. I'm like, a lot of people can't be business owners because of that.
Yeah. Hannah said the other day something, and it hit me. She said, I think she heard it online, I'm not sure, but she said, you're either winning or you're learning.
There you go.
So the only people that lose are losers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if you're a winner and you're out there, you're getting it, and you get, one day is just a tough, shitty day and some stuff didn't go right, are you going to learn from it? Yeah, you're going to learn from it. You're not going to do that again. So you're either winning or you're learning.
Yeah. And so that's the mentality I'm trying to, and I try to help him out, and I also understand that I don't know everything.
Yeah, nobody does.
It's that saying where if you're in the room with if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
And I totally, that's why I try to surround myself with business minds, because I've only been in this business maybe 8 years.
Yeah.
And that may seem like a lot to some people, but the reality is I'm an amateur, bro.
Dude, I'm learning stuff every day.
But one thing where I'm ahead with a lot of people is I'm open-minded to learning.
Absolutely.
And I know,
Yep.
like Hayden, I almost know exactly what I need to do in life to succeed.
Yeah.
For the most part, right?
Yeah.
Like I know that if I eat good,
Yeah.
if I work out,
Don't be an asshole.
I get around, don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Make my wife happy, spend time with my kids.
Yeah.
You're
winning.
Yeah,
success.
right there. And then you get around people that are smarter than you, and you know that, and you
Yeah.
be open-minded.
Yeah. Open-minded is the biggest thing.
Easier said than done, right? Because there's a lot of emotions. You got
Ton.
addictions and
It's also maturing, because there's a lot of older people in this world, grown-ups, if you will, that are still children.
Yep.
And it's all about maturing and keeping an open mind. And I think the open mind is the key to growing. Because if you instantly shut your mind off and you don't need any more information, you're capped.
Yeah.
You're capped.
Yeah. And people really lean on their emotional side.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you see it in today's politics. You see it
All over
everywhere.
the place.
It's all over the place. This episode of Forever Chubby is sponsored by Perfected Bodies. If you're looking to get in shape before the summer or looking to get in shape before your next vacation, choose Perfected Bodies. Perfected Bodies has quality personal training, a group fitness program that's designed to motivate you throughout the months so that way you hit your target goals in fitness. If you're just looking to stay in shape or just mentally be happy, come to Perfected Bodies. We're quality personal training. We do hands-on, partner-assisted stretching. We have an on-site nutritionist. Actually have an app that you can sign on to and get actual customized workouts in between your personal training sessions. That way you're working out even when you're not with us. We're all about quality. When you come into our gym, it's a private gym, and there's a lot of hands-on with our floor specialist that helps you stretch before and after your sessions. So again, if you're looking for a quality fitness program, choose Perfected Bodies in Denton, Texas. Speaking of politics, how are the tariffs on the business?
So it's one of those that we've seen that price increases are coming. I mean, like the shingles we use are all manufactured in Hillsboro, Texas. However, the company is owned by a Canadian company based out of Canada. I know some of the raw goods come. I mean, we're still getting really aggressive pricing on our shingle products.
So it has not affected y'all yet?
It did for a little bit, and then we had to make some phone calls and like, hey, this isn't what it needs to be. So we're really, really aggressive with our shingle pricing. We haven't seen it on the single ply, the white TPO membranes. There's been some talks of like the screws and the plates and like some accessories that are made overseas could be going up, but like those sheets are made in Gainesville, Texas. Yeah. So a lot of the product that we use and we install is actually made in Texas.
Oh wow.
But there's accessories, glue to hold the membranes down, some random things that's made overseas. I've seen that go up a little bit.
Offset that. You almost have to just, it's always going to be up and down, right? And
it's always up. It's never down. The roofing industry never goes down.
Yeah.
Ever.
So you can find a different part to offset that extra cost that you may.
So I'm looking at cost every day of where can we cut overhead, so we don't have to, if we have to pass the cost along to the customer, we have to pass along to the customer.
Sure.
Every job that we look at, we bid, we send out to get pricing. I'm sending out to multiple vendors, multiple manufacturers, and I'm looking at, what's the most cost-effective method to get this scope of work done that's going to give the customer the best value.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we can go in super cheap. I can't guarantee if it's going to last for, a certain number of years. But we can go through and we can do, the way it's supposed to be installed, remove the existing roof the way it's supposed to be done, and we can give 20, 25, 30-year manufacturer warranties. So it's one of those of like just having that conversation with that customer of what are you looking for? What's your goal out of this project?
Yeah. And
giving them the best value for what their goal is.
I need to use that with my clients.
Yeah.
Do you want to pay less and get less, or do you want to pay more and get more?
So it's one of those. At the end of the day, I'm going to get all nerdy in the roof world, but like there's a good, better, best for every roof out there. I mean, that's why you go to the car wash and they got the silver and the platinum and the bronze. People are accustomed to 3 choices. You have small, medium, large drinks. I mean, what do you want? You want good, you want better, you want best. Some people, good is just good enough. Some people want the top. They want the Cadillac. They want the seat heaters and the GPS, and they want the whole 9 yards. Some people are fine riding a Vespa. I mean, it's one of those of you just have to find that with your customer, and you spend enough time with them and you ask them enough questions, you're going to figure out pretty shortly, pretty quickly how they purchase and what they're looking for. I've read plenty of things of like when you drive past someone's house, you can tell the ones that have the nice lifted trucks and the flower beds, they have the nice plants and the flowers in the front yard. They got the extra expendable income. You drive past somebody's house and there's a beat up, sitting on blocks in the front yard and they have no landscaping at all. Those are the people that aren't looking for the higher end. So you can just tell by just looking at people and how they present themselves for a good, there's going to be some nuances there.
Sure.
But you'll be able to tell, is this going to be a good, a better, or a best type person?
So you already know going into it. How do you think Trump's doing?
How do I think he's doing? He's
because the tariffs essentially affect your business a little bit.
They do.
Does that affect your opinion on the job he's doing for the country?
So, to me, it's hard to answer because in my mind, I think he's doing what he thinks he needs to do in order to get China in line. Mm-hmm. I know that there's been some things in the past with trades and, the national debt and everything. So I think he is using his business knowledge. Because at the end of the day, the United States of America is like the biggest business on planet Earth.
It is.
So I think he's using his business knowledge and all of his cabinets and all of his staff's business knowledge to put the handcuffs on China and really any other country, not specifically China, that's not willing to negotiate. Because I think at the end of the day, he's not wanting prices to go skyrocket through the roof. I mean, that's not good for anybody.
Yeah.
Temporarily, is it going to suck? It could. Yeah. But I think what he's trying to do in a warmongering way that some presidents of the past may have done is let's make it hurt their pocketbook a little bit for a little while, and then maybe they'll want to come to us and talk about some trade negotiations.
Yeah,
that's what I see.
I think it's needed. I people are going to hate when people try to land in the middle. And it is what it is. I don't choose one way or the other.
I can't make the call.
I think it's needed. Is it
needed long term? I would say that'd probably be bad for the country.
Well, I mean, Republican and Democratic, I think that's our political system is needed for humans, right?
Yeah.
Like you'll never find a person, two people, or everybody on the planet's never going to agree on the exact same things.
No.
So you got to have two parties.
Yes, there has to be at least two. The issue that I see is there's so many different people with so many different thoughts and ideas. Mm-hmm. And to break off from a left or a right and start a new one, I would probably say this election was probably, I would have to fact check it, but probably one of the biggest elections of where there was about to be a third party candidate that actually had some potential with RFK.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably had the most potential of a third party candidate that I'm aware of in the history, of this country. And he, did whatever he had to do, make whatever deal he had to make with Trump. And now he's head of Health and Human Services, I think.
Yeah.
So it's one of those of, at the end of the day, no matter what people say, there's going to be a two-party system. It's always going to happen. And the second there's going to be someone that's a front runner of a third party, one of the two parties is going to try to absorb them, because neither of the two parties want to have someone else to fight against.
Yeah.
In an election.
Yeah, but so here's the thing. I think the political system needs somebody to refresh my history, but after the Civil War, I believe, is when we came with the two-party political system, or at least around that time, and it helps us from killing each other, right? Like, we have two parties to argue our beliefs and our topics.
And back in the day, it was a debate. It was people would come together and they would discuss ideas, and hey, I like my idea better, or hey, his idea is pretty good. And it seems like here lately, you can't even have a discussion of an idea with somebody.
Yeah. Well, I think social media has a lot to do with that.
Lots.
It's just the connection is there a lot more with a lot of.
And like you said, not everybody has to agree. There's a lot of people I don't agree with, but I'm still friends with them, and I'm friendly, and I have no hate, no ill will toward them. It's just, you have your opinions, I have my opinions. I mean, at the end of the day.
That's why I wanted to talk to you, because I knew I could talk to you about this without you becoming emotional.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people I can do that with. And, with the political system, it's just, I really can understand every single point of view to an extent.
No, I
mean,
can.
maybe I have a couple of things, a couple of topics where I'm just like,
I can have a conversation with somebody. I have a fantastic friendship with a girl, and one of Hannah's friends, and she lives in Miami. She's an awesome human, and you would never think that her and I would be good friends.
Just based off of
off of beliefs, what we both believe, how we live our lives. But we are we're awesome friends, and it's one of those that, I mean, she has an idea of what I think. I have an idea of what she thinks. But we're both good, decent humans and good, decent people, and we aren't assholes, and we have a friendship.
Yeah, you think she should have her own beliefs, and you have your own. And
if you want to live your life that way, awesome. Be happy.
Yeah.
Go do it.
And it's, every topic, like if you look at abortion, if you look at, men and women's sport, or women and men's, it's just, you can look at, maybe the last one, not so much, but you can look at and see the argument from both sides.
Yeah.
Like with abortion,
I can see the argument.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm not a woman, so I don't know. But I can understand the argument of both.
I can hear both sides of the argument, and I can see why one side would want it one way, and I can see why one side would want it the other way.
And then
Absolutely.
you lean towards your side.
Yeah, and then you lean towards the side that you
guns. Like,
yeah.
I can see both. I can see.
It's in our Constitution.
It's a little different.
It's in our Constitution.
See, then you get to one.
It's written in the Constitution.
But that's where you lean.
Yeah.
All the way one side, and where I can see guns are powerful, so I can understand.
Yeah, I can understand
the concept or the point of view.
Absolutely, I can understand.
But I'm one of those like, well, if that were going to happen, it should have happened from day one, and it didn't. So here we are.
Yeah.
And
that's my thought and argument too. Is these people of like, we should regulate guns, and it's like, well, have they ever tried to buy a gun before? Because guns are regulated.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to go fill out paperwork. They have to call the gun store, calls the FBI. FBI background checks you, runs your whole information. If that doesn't get the information they need right there, they hold it for a day or two, and they call you to come pick it up. I mean, guns are regulated.
Yeah.
So how are you going to regulate something more that's already being regulated? You got to crack down on the crime. It's the crime that it's not the physical. I mean, you put a gun on that table right there, it's a paperweight.
Yeah.
It's not going to do
I mean,
anything.
half the time, the people that commit those atrocities, half the time that it was legally, half the time it's illegally. I mean, they're going to end up doing it. I can understand maybe doing everything you can to make sure that they can't get the guns.
Absolutely.
But that's not, I wouldn't suggest that's taking away guns. Like, that's stupid.
No, I mean, there's more offenses in the United States that are disrupted by legal gun ownership than there are of people actually, causing harm to people.
Yep.
So you take guns out of it's the good guys with guns that stop the bad guys 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. It's needed.
It is.
It's for sure needed. I think humans are tribalistic people.
Yeah.
And
100%.
you're going to have some
animals. It goes back to
animals.
the left and the right. I mean, it's people want to have a group. Goes back to a business. They want to be a part of something. They want to be a part of a group. I mean, why do you see on Sundays guys that have never gotten a paycheck from the Dallas Cowboys, and when the Dallas Cowboys lose, their week goes to shit? Because they want to be a part of that group. They want to be a part of something.
Yep. And speaking of...
Or the 49ers, because who can root for that team?
I'm in both teams, man. It's just depressing. We need more alcohol for that conversation. But, humans and being tribalistic and the political systems. But you brought up sports. Sports, I think, are a beautiful thing because I think it kind of contains all of people's animalistic qualities where we have to be dominant and win. I think it's like in our DNA where we have to conquer and take over.
I mean, look at human history.
Yeah. We're still doing it.
Yeah.
We're still doing it. We're a little more civilized, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's within our DNA that we have to always be like animals.
We are
animals.
animals.
We are animals.
We are animals.
And I just don't see us getting all the way away from that.
No.
So
I always make the joke that when aliens drive past Earth, they lock the doors and they're like, "Get out of here! We're in the bad part of the galaxy."
I think, in my opinion, I think there is, and I don't. I guess I take that back. I don't think anything. I give it a big possibility of what might be true because I don't know anything, right?
No.
But I think that when it comes to conspiracy theories and stuff, there's a lot that. I don't know if that's completely bullshit. Yeah. I assume that it probably is bullshit.
It's one of those like, I'll kind of look at it and I'm like, no.
But people always, I believe this. Well, I don't.
Good for you.
Like when it comes to extraterrestrial aliens.
They're real.
I mean, I look at it this way. 80 years of somebody saying about a bunch of people. I'm talking about millions of people seeing things, abduction stories. There's a chance there's probably, and then you're seeing all of the new stars, how big the universe actually is, and more we're learning about quantum mechanics. I mean, come on, man. Like the possibility of there being other life out there. And then the question is, have they visited us? Well, you have all those rumors for 80 years.
Dude, millions of years, thousands of years. I mean, there's aliens and space people in the pyramids, like in hieroglyphics.
Yeah, it just makes Bob Lazar's one guy that I love his story because if you listen to the story, you never know unless you're there, right? But you just look at and listen, and then you can usually tell when somebody's full of shit. And even if you don't like, making your decision based off of that, listen to the story. And one thing he always says is like, if you don't believe my story, that's fine.
Yeah, okay.
And then he also is like, I don't dig into the UFO topic. Like, I just, this is what happened. And you either take it or you don't. And then he also says, you think I probably would have made my story a little bit more interesting?
Yo, dude, he could have made it crazy and off the wall if you want to make a story.
Do you know they're coming out with a new documentary on him?
No.
Dude, it's interesting.
I bet it is.
So they have a film company that's recreating everything that he saw. Okay. So they're making the spaceship.
They're gonna make like a CGI type documentary based off of.
No, they're making it. They're making it to the best of his memory.
Gotcha.
So they're making the S4 facility. So the whole story of Bob Lazar, right? And so they're making.
He was in Groom Lake, wasn't he?
Groom Lake, yeah. Which a lot of the stuff that he said is becoming true.
I mean, it was like, in the early 90s, he was talking about like the element 115 was the element that made the anti-gravitic spacecraft work. And everyone thought he was full of shit because like this doesn't exist. Yeah. And then like
we synthesized
10 years ago, 15 years ago, I don't know when it was, here recently.
2000 and...
Like it was called Moscovium.
Yeah.
They synthesized this...
Two atoms.
Element 115. Like, it was created. So, that to me, that was the point. I was like, well, maybe he's not full of shit.
Yeah. Well, if you just listen to him, man, and then make your own opinion, like, I challenge anybody to listen to his story. For people that don't know, he was a scientist that worked at Los Alamos Labs in New Mexico.
Yes.
And he was always a weirdo. He turned his jet car, or
he made like a jet propulsion bicycle, didn't he?
Yeah, he turned his car, his Honda Civic, into a jet car.
Yeah.
So he put a jet engine on it.
That's right.
And he would drive it to work. But he worked there, and then he long story. He left there and started acquiring for new work. And he just so happened to run into some guy he ran into, linked him up with this job, and he knew him from Los Alamos Labs. And he did an interview. He had no idea what he was interviewing for. He just knew it was in a remote area.
Remote, super top secret
him
stuff.
Being a scientist, he's like, sure.
Yeah.
Crazy scientist. It sounds like a cool job. He's in his 20s. And then so he accepts the job, and they bus him out to Groom Lake, where he is. He's saying the bus has like tinted windows and it's on a dirt road, and he gets out to, it's called S4, and it supposedly is a secretive military base in the side of a mountain in Nevada. And he goes in there, and then the first day he's just going over paper. He's signing his life away, bro. Like they're
doing the new hire orientation.
Yeah, so I remember I've watched every interview on him. In one interview, he was saying that basically he could not say a word about what he worked on. He still didn't have anything.
Yeah, he had no idea what he was working on.
Nothing about aliens, nothing. Yeah. And he didn't even believe in that. He signed his life away saying, this is a top secret project. If I tell anybody, they can throw me in jail for 10 years. So, and that's common, right?
Yeah.
Like I think when
you're working on some top secret stuff for the government, they're gonna make you sign some papers.
Yeah, when we develop nuclear weapons, same type of stuff, secretive projects. But he accepts that job, and then I think it was the second or third time he went in there, and he went into an office, and there's a stack of papers, and he had to read through these briefing documents, and the briefing documents get him up to date on what he will be working on. Briefing documents started talking about extraterrestrial, and aliens came from this place, and then the propulsion part of the craft and what he was going to be working on, and he was just like,
"Is this
a
joke? Movie script?
Is this a test? Like, are they just going to quiz me on this?" And then he comes in the next time, and he walks right past a flying saucer sitting on the ground. Again, sounds crazy, but once the whole story comes out, like it's reasonable. It could, if this stuff is real, that could be true.
Yeah.
Walks past a craft. He sees an American flag sticker on it. He thinks they're just a secretive American jet fighter that they're developing. Doesn't think it's aliens still. And then he gets his hands on the technology, and it's crazy technology. Yeah. And then he talks about going into, like, they had to get him into the spaceship and how it was real small, and that everything was fused together, all one color inside the...
Yeah, there wasn't any, like, joints or nothing was riveted or welded or nothing together.
He says nothing is recognizable, which that, I just want to see it one day. Like, what is that?
I think it was him that said, it was looking at a spacecraft, was looking at technology that you've never seen. It would be like dropping a fighter jet out in the prairie of like the 1700s. And these people are like, I've never seen this before. And like carbon fiber, like how, I know what it is. Like how did, like, there's no way to make it. Yeah. It's just like, they're looking at this thing of, we know it's not from here. Yeah. We don't even know where to get started.
Yeah, I think that documentary comes out later this year. You need to check it out.
I will.
Man. So everything is supposed to be in that film, what he saw, to everything, the benches that were at the S4 facility.
I mean, it's crazy to think about, and you're talking about, back the open mind and all that, of if space is infinite and it never stops, there should be an infinite number of planets out there that are habitable. Yeah. If it is infinite. It's wild to think, because a lot of people can't grasp that concept of how vast and large it is. But like, I think it was the Drake equation. I think his name was Frank Drake. He was like an astrophysicist in like the 60s. He came up with this equation, all different variables. And basically what he came to, conclusion was, just in the Milky Way galaxy, just in our galaxy, he estimated between 1,000 and 100 million civilizations that were alive on various planets in the Milky Way galaxy.
I mean, why not? Look at our planet. And we're already, if you look, I think it's Saturn's moons, that we are almost for sure there's like water, like
Yeah.
deep oceans that are frozen, and that there's probably life under there.
Yeah.
And I think we detected this certain type of molecule coming from, I want to say, what's one of the closest planets to the sun? Like Mercury. I think we detected a certain gas that only comes from living organisms. They think within the atmosphere of Mercury, like obviously they can't live on ground, but in the atmosphere that there could be living organisms in there. So it just makes sense. And I don't think people can grasp how big our universe is. They don't even know how far, how much space. So like how far it is from here just to the moon.
Yeah.
And then how big our sun
And
is.
from here to the moon, in the grand scheme of things, is
Nothing. And people don't understand that from here to the moon is you can fit every planet side by side.
Yeah.
And then think of this, you can fit 1 million Earths in the sun.
Yeah.
I mean,
And our sun's kind of small
and it is
out there in the space of all the other suns.
People have so many bills, bro, that they don't fucking think. They don't want to think about that stuff. Lauren's one of those. She's like, I don't ever think about that. And I'm like, how could you not?
Yeah.
But
it's wild stuff.
We're different, man.
Yeah.
It's just, so I don't think for sure they're aliens, but I think there's a good possibility that
statistically and, probably, and it makes sense.
Yeah, that they're visiting us. Now, did they?
Can I say yes? No, I can't say yes. Can I say no? No.
I've never seen anything.
I've never
seen
seen
anything. And I look
anything.
every day.
Yeah,
I look every night.
I've
never seen anything that I can't explain.
Yeah.
So I'm not one of those, I want it to be true, but I'm not one of those I'm going to make it up just to make it a reality.
Yeah.
But I think it's super interesting. Now, do I think they seeded us here? I think it's an interesting theory.
Dude, I mean, I don't know. Are we aliens?
We're weird.
Are we aliens that migrated here from another planet?
It's fun to think
We
about.
took out the dinosaurs? I don't know. I don't know.
It's fun to think about. But, I think there's a good chance that whatever we're doing, just like a bee just makes a beehive and doesn't even know.
Yeah.
We're obviously doing that with technology.
Yeah.
Now, why is it just within our DNA that we just have to make
So I
bigger
think-
and better things?
I was looking at this the other day because I'm a nerd and I look at this kind of stuff. So the SR-71 Blackbird was developed out Groom Lake area in I want to say 1958 was when the SR-71 Blackbird was started developed. Still to this day is one of the most technologically advanced airplanes of all times. The military retired it, I want to say in 98 or 2008, somewhere in there. But it was starting development in 1958. 10, 11 years before that was the Roswell crash. So how are you telling me that flight and aircraft from the Wright brothers until the late to mid 50s kind of was all the same, and then you have a noted crash of alien aircraft, and then 10 years later, one of the most technologically advanced aircrafts of all time is just developed?
Yeah.
And still to this day is one of the most technologically advanced aircrafts of all times?
Yeah.
Where does that technology come from?
I never thought of that. But that leads me to thinking of in the last 100 years versus 100 years before that.
You take 2025 and go back to 1925 and look at that 100 years of progression.
And then before that,
and they go 1925. I mean,
it was a wheel.
It was one of those of we had, the Bronze Age, and sure, metal was discovered and they could make swords. And then in the early 1900s, there was the Industrial Revolution and we had steam engines. And then all of a sudden it's how did we go from a steam engine to a quantum computer?
Yeah.
In 100 years.
Yeah.
In 150 years, whatever that time frame is.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a jump that far in technology advances that we're aware of over that short a period of time.
Yeah.
Now, if the pyramids is true and these pillars that go down on the ground and it was electricity and who knows? But
so is that only one report?
I don't know.
One
But there's
system that somehow detects
I have
underneath.
no idea. I just saw some report that there's columns
true.
in it. So I saw this
The report
graphic.
is out there.
Yes, the report's out there. There's a graphic that shows the overall structure of the pyramid with the stuff going down is taller than the tallest building in Dubai. You know that real famous building in Dubai? That overall pyramid structure into the ground is taller than that whole building.
So can we get down there?
I have no idea.
That's crazy.
What it looks like to me is a bunch of columns, and there's like these rooms at the bottom they were saying, but it looks like there's like spiral walkways or spiral staircases that go how they've modeled it. So,
I mean, today we still don't know how they're built.
no.
The best arguments are either A, they were helped being built, right, by something or someone.
Aliens.
Or the other one that, your astrophysicist will tell
Yeah.
you is, or the today's true scientists will tell you that we just don't give the Aztecs enough credit.
And what's also crazy about that too is there's massive noted pyramid type structures on all continents
Yeah.
that date back thousands of years. So how were these civilizations and these people all around the same time, all around the world doing the same thing?
Communicating
They didn't have email,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's great.
They couldn't send a text message.
And then, aligned with certain stars.
Yeah, I mean, it's just dead on with where these stars are and, different. It's like, I don't know. It's wild to think about.
It's fun to think about.
It is.
It really is. But
There's a lot of stuff that we don't know that happened on this planet.
Should it stay that way? Maybe we're not supposed to know.
Some of us I think could handle it, and I think some of us couldn't. And I would like to think I'm one of the ones that could handle it. I want to know.
I want to know
surprises.
I want to know before I die too. But I also think that if we did find out, like let's say somebody came out and it's the same thing as COVID. If somebody came out and the president or whatever announced it, and we had footage, half people would believe it, half people would think
It's like, all right, guys, get this. All humans are aliens. They came to Earth. They dropped the pyramid in the ground because it was on a spacecraft, and they killed all the dinosaurs. And we're the reason the dinosaurs extinct. No one would believe that.
They'd be like, bullshit, go on about their lives. So let's go ahead and just let it out.
Why does it matter?
And me and you could be like, yes, before we die. And then,
Who knows?
the rest is whatever. But no, I appreciate having you on today, man. It's so interesting to hear different businesses, especially the roofing business, because it's huge.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a roof. Bro.
Everybody needs a roof. Every building, every house, every structure on this planet has a roof.
Yes.
Every
And
single
your
one of them.
company can soon do around the planet eventually, right?
I wouldn't mind,
Being international.
strategically, like Turks and Caicos or maybe, Cabo.
I just wonder the licensing and
The licensing's crazy.
oh my God.
It's every state's different, and some states, and even on a state level, it's on a city level. So it's one of those of just being able to navigate those waters, and then.
But if you can,
Yeah.
then anything's possible. Well, appreciate having you on, man.
Yeah.
It was good talking to you.
Absolutely.
And maybe in the future we'll do this again. And
Let's
then
do
when
it.
you get your podcast going, we'll do it again.
Absolutely.
Cool, man. Have a
Sounds
good day, brother.
Yes, sir.